In spring-summer 2019, I went on an adventure through all 50 states in under 3 months with the objective of going on a hike in every single one. By no means am I a professional hiker, but I am incredibly passionate about nature and being out in it. There's just something about being far enough away from society to hear the birds chirping, hear your own footsteps, and your own thoughts. Hiking is a way to connect with our environment in its purest form, and its healing effects on the soul are limitless. These are the 10 states I found to have the most incredible hiking opportunities. Number 10 is Arizona. Because this place is so close to home for me, I've been at least half a dozen times. I love it so much, and its many stunning locations to visit, with roads lined with the geographically unique to Arizona saguaro cactus. From the Grand Canyon to Sedona to Phoenix, there's something in this state for everybody, as long as you can handle the heat. Number 9, Oregon. Oregon is home to Crater Lake, the deepest lake in the country. All the trails were closed when I was around due to snow, so I wasn't able to get any higher than this, but I'll be back at some point in my life. The state's incredibly diverse with so many different landscapes, including the mountains like Mount Hood and the Painted Hills, and waterfalls including the iconic Multnomah Falls and Silver Falls State Park. Number 8 is Montana. Glacier and Yellowstone National Parks were the only places I made it to when I was here, but they were both breathtaking. The water is all just glacier melt. Like, it's so pure, it's actually blue to the eye. This place would probably be higher on my list, but a storm struck on my way out the first day and I was not prepared to hike under the new conditions. I'm from LA, so my bias is that I'm kind of a wimp. For number 7, I kind of put a couple states here. I put Maine and New Hampshire. I know this is 2, but they're so geographically small compared to almost every other state on this list. I wanted to make sure that I recommended both. In the springtime, this place is amazing. The trees are just so colorful and beautiful. I went to Acadia National Park in Maine, and I visited the White National Forest in New Hampshire. The colors on the trees really are just as great as you hear people talking about, and I'll definitely have to go back in the fall someday to see what that looks like. Number 6 is Wyoming. This might be one of the most famous tourist spots with both Yellowstone and Grand Teton National Parks, and they do not disappoint. As ridiculous as it sounds, I found myself literally in tears at first glance with the Tetons. You're surrounded by wildlife everywhere you go. This was the only state I saw several bears, bison, and many other incredible animals. Also remember to be safe and cautious when in the presence of them. Fear is contagious by nature and causes us to react instead of respond. Respect the wild. Number 5 is Utah. Hiking in Utah was almost more of a spiritual experience for me. I just felt so connected to this state, and it was like I was in alignment with everything in my universe. From Zion National Park to Bryce Canyon to Monument Valley to Arches, I was in awe at the creations of nature. It's just, it's so beautiful and so unlike anywhere else in the country. Just like Hawaii. Hands down, Hawaii has the most unique hiking from all other states due to its tropical climate. Every single trail, view, and sunset are unforgettable. The sunsets, though, seriously, just so good. Diamond Head, Cocoa Head, Manoa Falls, the trails are all so refreshing. I can see why. I would say that Washington has some of the absolute best hiking in the country. This place, it just has mountains. This place has mountains, big, beautiful mountains that reach higher than the clouds. I went on the Rattlesnake Trail local to Seattle and climbed a random mountain somewhere in the Olympic National Forest. Both were 2 of my absolute favorite adventures in my entire 3-month journey. There was a mountain goat kid that was even curious enough to approach me. I'm grateful Mother Nature trusted me enough to have this experience because it was pretty freaking cool. The second best state for hiking is California. And I know my opinion is super biased because I'm from here, but we just have really great hikes. North, south, east, west. There are deserts, lakes, rivers, beaches. We've got something here for everyone. We have some of the tallest mountains in the country. Then we have the sequoias and redwoods, some of the tallest trees. Death Valley has got the lowest point in the nation. There's Joshua Tree. There's so many other national forests and national parks. There's just so much to explore. half the PCTs in California territory. Before I tell you the best state for hiking, I'm gonna leave some honorable mentions here and explain why. When I was driving through Colorado, a huge storm came through and I kind of got stuck in a coffee shop, so all of my hiking plans got destroyed. I did make a pit stop at the Garden of the Gods on my way out, but I feel like that's just not the same kind of hike that Colorado is known for. From what I understand, Colorado does have some of the best hiking in the country. And my other honorable mention is going to be the Appalachian Mountains. I know that's not a state, and the reason being is because it covers so many different states, and they're all really tiny, so it's hard to just pick one. I actually did a couple hikes in the Appalachian Mountains, one in Pennsylvania and one in Tennessee. Both were amazing. Also, the Blue Ridge Parkway is nearby, and that's in North Carolina and Virginia, and honestly, like, this mountain range is just incredible, and any state that has some of it in there is worth a hike. Alright, now for the absolute best hiking state, Alaska. Holy moly, this place was on fire, literally. I flew in on the 4th of July 2019, and there was a record heat wave at Anchorage, earthquakes, and forest fires, so all the fireworks shows were canceled. Aside from that, the entire state was just untouched. It was incredible, so wild. Denali, and there's tons of glaciers and forests, and because I was there in the middle of summer, the sun barely even set. It hardly even dropped below the skyline. It was such a fascinating phenomenon. I reached the peak of this trail right before midnight, and it was one of the hardest and most worth it hikes I've ever done. When the sun never sets, you can explore forever. Hiking is truly therapeutic. If you're ever feeling lost, just go actually get yourself lost somewhere new for a change in perspective. Get outside and escape the indoors more often.